Well, we're still hello, everybody. Today we're going to talk about the number one secret that no one is talking to you about. It, you home sellers out there. The MLS does not require any specific amount of compensation for buyer's agents. In fact, the MLS specifically notes that they do not control compensation. Let me just prove a point. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to close this up. I'm going to pull this. Oh, look, I did it again. Okay. This is the Sandacor. And then I'll bring you over to, I have car model rules here, right here. Where did they just, oh, that's because it's in Microsoft. Okay, here it is. This is the model rules from the California Association of Realtors. No control of commission rates or fees charged by participants. The MLS shall not fix, control, recommend, suggest, or maintain commission rates or fees for services to be rendered by participants. Further, the MLS shall not fix, control, recommend, suggest, or maintain the division of commissions or fees between cooperating participants or between participants and non-participants. And consistent with that is the Sandacor rules. No control of commission rates or fees charged by participants. The MLS shall not fix, control, recommend, suggest, or maintain commission rates or fees for services to be rendered by participants. All they say, really, it boils down to the fact is that when you make an offer of compensation via the MLS, if the buyer agent performs, you're going to be responsible for paying for it, along with possible other consequences. So the lawyer in me, I'm a lawyer and a real estate broker in California, the lawyer in me reflects back on the idea of, well, what exactly would be sufficient compensation? And one of the things you learn about basic law school is that if there's a contract for services, a valid contract, a peppercorn can be sufficient consideration. So I guess, in theory, the idea would be that if you said, we will pay a peppercorn to buyer's agents for bringing a buyer to the table who makes an offer and buys the home, that would be deemed sufficient. Now, would I expect a peppercorn to count? No, but it would get difficult for a court to say $1 is unacceptable, or $10 is unacceptable, or $100 is unacceptable, given the fact that MLSs and big brokers are being sued right now by plaintiffs' lawyers over the idea that they've been controlling. I don't even know. I had previous videos on that. Big brokers being sued because they've been fixing compensation has been the claim. I think you can sum it up that way. So what does this mean for you? Well, if you look at Rex says they charge 2%, but they don't put it on the MLS. I'm surprised Rex does not say, hey, they say you don't need the MLS, but why would Rex not put it on the MLS anyway? Because I'll tell you, there are advantages of it, and we'll discuss that next. But when you go to Zillow, I don't see Zillow telling you, even though Zillow is one of the places where something like 25% of the buyer traffic is. Realtor.com might say it because they don't put your house on there unless you're with an agent. But I think they even have a little bit more business than buyer traffic than Zillow. Last time I checked, they had between Zillow and Realtor.com, they had a massive amount of traffic. Now, what would I do about this? Well, let's think that there's two things. One, I think this calls for a two-step process. I think that, yes, at some point in time, or especially if the market's getting tougher, and we see it could be happening right now this fall. I've had other videos on that. We know that foreclosure rates have just turned up for the first time in 7 years. We know that prices are not going up as fast as they did, and that yesterday, the former chairman of the Fed in New York, a guy named Dudley, advised the Fed to not cooperate with Trump, and it almost sounded like he said make it more difficult for Trump to get reelected. So there's a chance, because interest rates and what the Fed does has a lot to do with the availability of money in the real estate market. There's a chance things are going to get tougher, and the fall, normally things do get a little bit slower. So what would I consider? Well, you always need to reserve that option at any time to go full service and offer to pay buyer's agents the full amount. But I think there's a tremendous opportunity here now for sellers to talk to realtors. And believe me, you can talk to me if you want to talk to me about this at winnerscheck.com. Just set up a free strategy session. But let's go over to Zillow. I want to take down some of these. We'll just go to Zillow there. I don't want already I imagine my voice is not matching the movement right now. But let me go over to Zillow. And let me illustrate something. Let me illustrate that what happens when you go for sale by owner And this is one of the ways to get on Zillow is to go for sale by owner. And well, you can't get on Realtor.com unless a realtor puts it on the MLS, to my knowledge. So that's 25-30% of the buyers. If you want to get to them directly without paying for marketing on Facebook, you can just get it right there by having a realtor who put it on the MLS. But now let's go over to Zillow. Let's look at homes for sale. Oh, you know what? Zillow knows me because I do work there as an agent. So let's do it this way. We'll go incognito. Okay, so now let's go buy. And let's do Carl. I always go Poway. So let's do Carlsbad. I don't want Poway homes for sale. I want Carlsbad. Let's type in Carlsbad here. Carlsbad for sale. Now, let's compare what it's like to be by owner on Zillow versus what it's like to be selling through a realtor on the MLS. Because the MLS, for instance, in San Diego, not every listing gets on the MLS. Your realtor has to have an agreement to push it to MLS. Most do, but not all. I've shown before, not every house is on Zillow. But let's say, and this is a valid way to get your home sold. Let's say you're going by owner. So let's look at this property. This is in Vista. It's not even Carlsbad. I don't know why that just happened, but it doesn't matter for illustration purposes, as long as this is by owner. For sale by owner. Now, as people scroll down and look at the pictures and they're interested in the home, they see an open house. That's cool, right? That's a good thing. We got this estimate, and this owner's near this estimate. That's nice. Now let's see if people are interested in the home. If they hit get more info, let's see what happens. Okay, so we see that there's contact, and I don't know this for a fact, but normally this contact information, I used to pay Zillow for leads. I've paid Trulia for leads. Normally this is a cool contact for Zillow, and this goes out to agents, buyer's agents who pay for it a lot of money. And then they also put these agents here, and down here is property owner. So if you're putting and by the way, I think it's a fair exchange. I mean, this is a business. You're getting to put your house on a website that has a lot of buyer traffic, and you're getting to put your home in front of the buyers. Some of that information, some of your buzz that your house created will get siphoned off by Zillow to go to these buyer's agents. And whether these buyer's agents call you up and say, are you going to cooperate? Or whether they don't tell people, well, that's a for sale by owner, they don't know what they're doing, you might want to look at these other properties. All of that's pretty valid. But by doing this, if you want to sell your home, there's a percentage of people that you're either going to have to offer compensation to the buyer's agents because they've now tried to tie this buyer up, or they're going to be dissuaded from them finding out about your property. Who knows the percentages? I don't. I'm just pointing this out. Now, let's go back one, and let's see what happens when you actually have buy agent. Now, I'm going to say this is a crapshoot for me because it's always changing. I've made a bunch of videos talking about how to beat Zillow, how to list your house and take advantage of inefficiencies here. And then I've also made some, Zillow's had problems in the past, people feeling misled by the fact that they've been not getting to talk to the listing agent directly. So I've noticed this is always changing. So I don't know what's going to happen right now, but we'll see what happens. Okay, in this case, the first person that people get to see here is the listing agent. So you still got the contact issue. Oh, right to the listing agent. So this is what happens. Zillow, I believe, through a deal they had to make with the San Diego MLS, and this might not be the way this Zillow deals with your MLS, but Zillow, well, I'm starting to feel that this agent may pay. This agent's dominating it. So let's say this agent paid to be a featured listing and have control of his listing. Let's see if that's consistent. As again, there's a lot of variables on Zillow because you don't know the arrangement they have. So a contact agent, let's see what that pops up. Okay, so this is more similar, but now it's the listing agent again is at the top. Contact agent, I imagine, might go to one of these other agents or people paying for the leads, but the listing agent is there. People can see, and I've been training people, they want to ask questions of the listing agent directly. And further down here, there'll be more in the past. We'll contact the agent again, listing agent again, lenders, people might get picked off by the lenders, listing provided by again. So there's a lot greater chance for buyers to get in touch with the listing agent directly rather than be picked off by these buyers agents. And I'll tell you one other thing about this idea is what's going to happen is you're going to be also on Realtor.com if you offer $200 in the MLS. You're going to be on Zillow. You're going to be on all the realtors' websites. You're going to be everywhere. And yes, there's a percentage of buyers that will probably be corralled by the buyer's agents and be working with them and never find a way to contact you directly. But there's also a much higher percentage that people are going to want to find out about your home and get in touch with the listing agent. I've been a listing agent. I'm not making this up. People call me all the time. I know when my price on Zillow or in Craigslist and on Facebook is a little bit different than my price on the MLS. I get calls directly. I know more people show up at the open houses that I feature. It's a pretty efficient marketplace. Motivated buyers will find a way to find your home. So what I'm saying is that if you want to get on Realtor.com, and there's an advantage to that, and you can bypass Realtor.com. I'm just laying it out. I know it's not a wonderful presentation. I personally believe if you spend money on Facebook, marketing your home in the right way, and I've talked about that in my 7-day home sale blueprint and on the methods, and you do it in your area, it'd just be like boosting a post. But you also market your home as a listing that's going to have starting offers this weekend. It's going to be sold to the highest bidder this weekend. That would be your ad. And then you talk about the fact that the strongest bidder will have a right to negotiate with you for the final terms on Sunday evening. So this house will be sold this weekend to the highest bidder. People are going to click on your link, and it's going to cost you very little money. You can spend $7 to $10 a day for 5 to 10 days doing this. You're going to have tons of people coming to your open house. You're going to be soliciting them to make bids. Sunday evening, you have round robin bidding. There's a very, very strong chance you're going to get a great deal in your home. But again, I advise maximum flexibility. If that doesn't work out, you can go full service, full pay, and go to the listing agents. But what I would do is I would combine those things. I'd get on the MLS. I'd make my property very interesting. I'd have an open house this weekend, a multiple offer weekend. I'd put all that together, and that would be my first 5 to 20 days in the real estate market. And then, if I don't sell then, I go over to the full service, full price listing. And I'll tell you what, right now, let me just be straight up. If you want to talk to me about this, the two-step process, I will say that until I create, it costs me like $850 a year, until I create a second brokerage, I think the wise two-step process for this would be have someone like me put on the MLS, set it up for a multiple offer. We can accept offers for 7 to 10 days, do all the marketing, and try to get you an offer that you consider strong enough and you want to take, and you'll save at least 3% with the realtor fees, and then more if you're working with the listing agent directly. Or between you and the listing agent, I'll either refer it to a listing agent or you can work with me if it's in California. So the two-step process is give it a shot for 5 to say 21 days. And if that doesn't work, we take your listing and we refer it to a full service agent who's going to make at least an offer of customary compensation to the buyers on the MLS. And they're going to do a big grand opening, a big marketing, and it'll be a separate entity. So your house, the agents who were telling people, well, you don't want to deal with that house because there wasn't enough compensation for them. You're going to have a different price, a new agent, different pictures. It's going to be a different setup. And so that'll be the second bite of the apple. First bite, save the 2.5%, 3%, get the multiple offers, use the MLS to put it out all over the place. And then if you're not happy, then you go to the full service. We can refer it out. We can share the referral fee even. So it's a fantastic situation. So if you'd like to know more, go to winnerscheck.com/list. And I haven't even made the website yet. I'll be making that this afternoon. Otherwise, just at winnerscheck.com, just set up a strategy session. That's probably the easiest thing to do. Just give me a call. there's multiple ways to get you this top dollar and the highest net. We'll talk about your best strategies. Thanks. Talk to you later. Bye.